think, not too sure. But you get ready to read. So, good evening to you and welcome, especially to the new ones. Welcome to our family, the LiveRight family. We're glad to have you. We want to go straight into the second part of our teaching for this evening. And we have been looking at spiritual gifts. The last thing we were looking at is ministry, serving. What is serving? What is ministry? And we had some fun last evening because I presented to you 3 scenarios, if you remember that, concerning doing good. Because we asked the question, if doing good, what was the question we asked? We asked if doing good to one, and it, because the scripture says, to him that knoweth to do good and do it not is a sin, right? And we asked, what is doing good? And then we asked the question, if doing good for one person, if it's not good for another person, how will that work out? And we presented 3 scenarios for those of you. Let me just give you one, just to jog your memory. The last one we did was that you are a Trinidadian, who was elevated to be the personal advisor to the President of the United States. And you have just been told that the Russians have launched an atomic bomb towards New York, which has a population of 8.3 million. And the only way in which the bomb can be prevented from reaching New York is by deflecting it. But the only deflection part available, that it will take the bomb over Trinidad and Tobago, and it will destroy Trinidad and Tobago. And you had the decision to make, or the advice to give. Would you allow the bomb to go and destroy New York with the 8.3 million people, or your own homeland with 1.4 million people? What would you do when it's in your hands? And we looked at some ethical dilemmas. We are doing good to one, maybe not doing good to the other. And we looked at a couple of those, and that was the last one we looked at. So as we continue today, we ask the question, what if you do bad and it turns out good? Have you really done bad? Let me ask that question again. What if you do bad? You try to help. You help. Or sorry, you don't help, but it turns out good. Have you done good or have you done bad? In other words, does the end justify the means? Does the end justify the means? Let's look at Genesis chapter 27, First Lady. And we read in verses 1 to 19. Genesis 27. And again, this is a familiar portion of scripture. And I ask you, like I usually do, listen with new ears, please, as though you're hearing it for the very first time. First Lady. Are you there?
Are you hearing me? It's Genesis chapter 27.
Verses 1, from verse 1 to 19.
1 to 19, the New King James Version. Now it came to pass, when Isaac was old and his eyes were so dim that he could not see, that he called Esau, his older son, and said to him, My son. And he answered him, Here I am. Then he said, Behold, now I am old. I do not know the day of my death. Now therefore, please take your weapons, your quiver, and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me, and make me savory food, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, that my soul may bless you before I die. Now Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to Esau, his son. And Esau went to the field to hunt game and to bring it. So Rebekah spoke to Jacob, her son, saying, Indeed, I heard your father speak to Esau, your brother, saying, Bring me game and make savory food for me, that I may eat it and bless you in the presence of the Lord before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice. according to what I command you. Go now to the flock and bring me from there 2 choice kinds of goat, and I will make savory food for them, for your father, such as he loves. Then you shall take it to your father, and that he may eat it, and that he may bless you before his death. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, look, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am smooth-skinned man. Perhaps my father will feel me, and I shall seem to be a deceiver to him, and I shall bring a curse on myself, and not a blessing. But his mother said to him, let your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go. Get them for me. And he went and he got them and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory food, such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the choice clothes of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skin of the kids of the goat on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. Then she gave the savory food and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. So he went to his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Who are you, my son? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done just as you told me. Please arise, sit, and eat of my game, that your soul may bless me. Dr. Richards, that's 19.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Further. It's 29, not 19. Sorry.
But Isaac said to his son, how is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord your God brought it to me. Isaac said to Jacob, please come near that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not. So Jacob went near to Esau, his father, and he felt him. Isaac. So Jacob went near to Isaac, his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hand. So he blessed him. Then he said, are you really my son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat at my son's game so that my soul may bless you. So he brought it near to him, and he ate. And he brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his clothing, and blessed him. And he said, surely the smell of my son is like the smell of a field, which the Lord has blessed. Therefore may God give you of the dew of heaven, of the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let peoples serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brethren, and let your mother's son bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be those who bless you.
Thank you. So we know the story. It's a story of Jacob and his brother Esau, and and his father Isaac, who was growing old and going blind, couldn't see, and was deceived by his wife Rebekah, and also by his son Jacob. Now my question is this. Did they do something bad? Yes or no? Talk to me, somebody. Was it something bad that they did? Let me hear what you have to say. Or would you, as a mother, because we have mostly ladies in this ministry, in this family, would you have done the same thing as a mother? You have a son and he's your favorite son, and you want him to get the blessing. And in those days, when they pronounced a blessing on you, it was a blessing. Eh? You couldn't bless and say, well, I didn't mean that. So would you have done that? Joshua, talk to me.
Okay, Dr. Richards, we have a couple of comments. We have one that says no, another says no, I would not. Another says no, that is deception. One says yes. One says yes, it was wrong because they deceived Jacob. It is the same as lying. And another says that was terrible what she did.
Okay. So most of you, if not all, saying it was a wrong thing to do. It was a bad thing to do. But this Jacob that was blessed, the blessing that was bestowed on him, is the same blessing that we today, we talked about the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. He has been blessed. He got the blessing instead of Esau. His 12 sons became God's chosen people. So it turned out okay, didn't it? So my question is, was that such a bad thing after all? Because apparently it appears that he is the one that God chose to be blessed and to be the father of the nation of Israel. In fact, his name was changed to Israel, and his sons became the leaders of the 12 tribes of Israel, of Jacob. So my question is, does the end justify the means? Because this is the same Jacob. This is the same Jacob. This is the same Israel. This is the same one who became a nation that we talk about all the time. And we say, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. And we're supporting them. And all these things. This is how he got his blessing. So talk to me, somebody. Does the end justify the means? I'm not hearing you all. We don't have much time today. But we're talking about serving, we're talking about ministering, we're talking about doing good. And my question is, can doing bad turn out to be doing good? That's the question I'm asking. Can somebody do bad and yet it is doing good? Anybody?
Okay, Dr. Richards, we have one comment that says, I think so. And another says, yes, yes. And another says, what the devil meant for evil, God has turned it around. Another says, the blessing from the Father justified the means of the Son.
Well, that's a different perspective. The blessings of the Father justify the means of the Son. In other words, the Son was supposed to get the blessing, so it doesn't matter the fact that he deceived him. Anybody else before we move on?
We have one more comment that says, I believe so.
Well, I'm not sure what believe so mean. All right. You know, sometimes we try to help God. Let me put it that way. Sometimes we do things because we feel this is the way it is supposed to be. And we try to help God. We say, God, you need to bless this person. Even if God has said, I'm going to bless this person. And we think sometimes that God needs a little push. He needs a little help. He needs our intervention. So sometimes we go and we do things that is not in the plan of God in order to bring about the plan of God, which is what his mother did. God doesn't use deceit. God doesn't use trickery. God doesn't use evil things, because those are what they are, to bring about his plan. He may use people who do those things. But God doesn't. If God wants to bless somebody, he would bless them. And he may use different means to bless them, but it doesn't mean that you have to pick yourself up and go and do something because you feel this person deserves to be blessed. You feel this person is good, and let me do something to help them. Like I was asking you yesterday, if somebody stole something from somebody and you help them to steal it back, if you have done wrong or right. So you're making things right. The person lost something that somebody stole and they went to steal it back and you help them to steal it to restore them to the original position, well, the person would have been restored. But if you are stealing, taking something that does not belong to you, then you're doing the wrong thing. And very often we don't wait on God to work things out. We don't wait on God. We want to, I'm looking for a phrase that I heard a long time ago, but it doesn't come to mind. But we want to help God by speeding up the thing or doing it our way. And we're trying to help him to put things in place, because you see, God, you're taking too long. Or God, if you don't do it, it's not going to be done now. And this person needs to be blessed. So in this scenario, they did the wrong thing. They both did the wrong thing. And Jacob was, of course, following the instruction of his mother. But like we did today with the story that we did at 6 o'clock, you can't blame anybody else for what you did or didn't do. Especially in this case where he is an adult. Maybe may have been a young man, but he would have known right from wrong. And the thing is, he also lied because his father asked him. He said, "Are you Esau?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And he deceived him by allowing him to touch his hands and his neck. Maybe he couldn't do the impression or the impersonation of Esau's voice. That's why he didn't do it. So we've got to be careful. Bottom line is this: we've got to be careful that in our effort to do good, we do bad, we do wrong. And we think it justifies because the end result is that somebody experiences something good. Somebody get back the thing that was stolen from them. Somebody get the blessing that should have been theirs in the first place. God doesn't need our help. Are you hearing me? God doesn't need our help. So ministering or serving is one of the gifts that we have been given, one of the things that we are supposed to do. We are supposed to minister to each other. We are supposed to serve one another. And our serving should be done through the spiritual gifts that have been given by God to minister to one another. Let's look at 1 Peter 4:10. Who has that one? 1 Peter 4:10.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Aye.
Okay. As each one has received a gift, ministered it to one another as God's steward of the manifold grace of God. You read it again, you didn't hear me? I'm going to read it again.
Go ahead.
As each one has received a gift, ministered it to one another as God's steward of the manifold grace of God.
Thank you. If anyone has received a gift, minister it to who? To one another. The gifts that we have been given is for us to minister to one another. It's for us to help one another. It's for us to be a blessing to one another. That's what the gift is given for. So whatever gift you have been given, whatever it is God has bestowed on you, that is not for you to keep. It is not for you to sell. It is not for you to say, "Come and pay me." We are supposed to minister to one another. We are supposed to serve one another with the gifts that we have. All right, so we have come to the end of serving, ministering. We're going to go on to another gift. We'll do that tomorrow night, God's willing. We will go on to another one where we will see that we have been given this gift so that we can help each other. Many times, the things that we have been blessed with, many times the things that have been given to us, we prostitute it because we sell it. We ask others to pay for it. When we don't seem to realize that we didn't pay for it. A gift is something that you have been given. Even a talent, an ability is what you have been given. And God has given these gifts, these talents, these abilities, so that we could be help to one another. So I want to ask you as we close off today, we will end a little early today because I don't want to go into something new until tomorrow, God's willing. I want you to think, go in your mind and think, what are some of the ways that we can minister to one another, that we can serve one another? What are some of the ways? We saw Jesus washing the feet of his disciples. All right? What are some of the ways, some of the practical ways that we could serve one another? Talk to me, somebody. We're wrapping up with this today. What are some practical ways that you can think of that you can be a blessing to somebody, that you can minister to somebody, that you can show somebody, hey, this gift that has been given to me, I want to use it to help you? Talk to me quickly, somebody. Or put it in the chat. And don't tell me you can't think of anything.
Okay, we have a comment that says, give to one another and share.
Give to one another what? What would you give to one another? Why are we so quiet tonight?
Okay, we have another that says helping to clean one's home.
Helping to clean somebody's home. Yeah, that's a way to help somebody. You know, you know that they need the assistance, maybe they're bedridden or they're wheelchair bound or you know, they're just unable to do certain things around the home. Why can't we help one another? Why can't we do that? Come on, talk to me, people.
Okay, we have some more comments. We have one that says blessing someone with groceries. We have blessing someone with food, clothing, right? Buying lunch for someone, cook a meal for someone. We can listen to someone. We can help with babysitting, helping with laundry. We can volunteer as well.
And those are practical ways. Very often we believe as believers, as James says, somebody needs your help and they say, I will pray for you. Go in peace. But we, as I told you, are human beings to do. So we are not just beings to be, but we are beings to do. And we have to be practical Christians by helping one another. That's why we're here, so that we can be a blessing. We were saved to do good works. We are saved to do good. We are saved not just to spectate or to pronounce a blessing on each other. We have to be practical Christians. And being practical doesn't mean that you're not spiritual. As a matter of fact, you can't be spiritual without being practical. So we have to determine, and it's nice to say, well, do this and do that, but do we really do it? So I want to encourage us tonight as we close off this particular part. Look for something to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, God's willing. It's something we used to tell you every day. I think we stopped saying it. Maybe we ought to start back saying it. Do something for somebody. Somebody that can't do anything back to you and for you. Someone who are not able to bless you back. Do something for that person. Be a blessing to somebody who cannot bless you. Can we do that? Can we live intentionally? Can we say, look, you know what? And when I say do something that to someone who may not be able to help you, sometimes they may not be able to help us, but we want to make sure they know. Can we do something in secret? Is it possible? Can we bless one another in secret? Can we do something for somebody and not take the credit for it? Is that possible? Is that possible to do? I challenge you, my friend. I challenge you. Because very often, our doing good is dependent on how much credit we get and how much recognition that we get. I want to encourage you. Be a servant. Be a minister without looking for anything in return. And I promise you, God is going to bless you. And I know we have people like this in this family because I have seen it. I've experienced it. So this is for those who maybe have never done that. I challenge you. Yes? God bless you. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Tomorrow we move on to something else. And I want to remind you that we are back in the morning at 2 o'clock. Well, the Zoom opens at 2 and the ministry begins at 3, from 3 to 4. And then we're back again. The Zoom opens at 11, ministry from 12 to 1. And then we're back again for a communion ministry in the evening at 5. It opens at 5 and we have a communion at 6. And we continue where we left off today. Promise you. So God richly bless you. I think that's all the announcement that we have. Have a wonderful night, people. Have a great night. Have a restful night. And I know, I'm not sure what's happening with the weather because I know there was another tropical disturbance heading this way. I'm not sure what happened, but be careful. Careful as you go. So have a wonderful night on behalf of First Lady, Joshua and the boys, and all the elders. Have a beautiful night.